Hey, what's up guys, this is Liam or Weagle on Your Overwatch, back with a new video. Today, we're going to be talking about the almighty dream of many, Grandmasters, and what it means when you finally get there, because it is not what you expect. You'll see now on screen that I've been playing in some games lately that are very, very interesting, and there's a lot going on in GM that you simply just don't expect. Everything is just multiplied, so if you're in a really good game, it's amazing, and everyone's coordinating, and there's team fights, and it's just beautiful. But if you're in a game where a lot of one tricks have got to GM and you've got a lot of one tricks on your team and they're all being countered by the enemy team, it is the most toxic Overwatch you can possibly experience. It is crazy, crazy stuff. Now, there's some weird things I've noticed about getting to GM and playing in it. I've been in it a while, and before making this video, I wanted to make sure that I'd really played it out and seen all the different aspects of it. So before, I showed you some gameplay of where I was playing with some pros, and it was just absolutely beautiful. And the funny thing is that even though there's all these different skill gaps and margins all the way up to GM, the biggest skill gap at the game is actually GM and top 500, because when you're in a 4200 game, some of them just feel like plat, but some people are a bit better. I mean, it's really, really messy and horrible, and everyone's flaming each other, and honestly, it's no different. But then other games you get into, and the average SR will be the same of 4200, and you've got people on your team that are just doing things you didn't think possible on certain heroes. There's this massive threshold in GM that just doesn't exist actually in any other rank. But as I say, all of that is multiplied, so your toxic games are just going to be something you've never experienced before. The flame is unbelievable, and actually these huge plays that you would expect to be made more in these ranks don't happen so much. Now, the one trick problem is something I've seen a lot of YouTubers talking about, and this is very evident as soon as you're in GM2, because you will often run into people like Genji mains that are amazing at the game, but as soon as the enemy team are hitting Roadhog hooks on him, or controlling him with McCree, or diving in with Winston and he doesn't swap, or the enemy team take a quad tank setup, that becomes a problem too. Now, a quad tank setup is something else you'll see a lot as well, because there's a lot of Roadhog one tricks, there's a lot of Zarya one tricks, and once you have a Roadhog and a Zarya on your team, you need a Rhine as well. You're almost back in this triple tank meta, and actually that team will often lose out against a load of Genjis and Tracers and stuff that are just swarming because they're so sick on one hero. So what's weird about this whole thing is that the best way to get to GM is to play one hero, but then once you're in there, it's even more free-for-all than you've ever experienced. It really is quite crazy. But I want to talk a little bit more about that threshold I was talking about, because there are some top 500 games I've gotten into, and some of them just don't know how to play the game as well. They themselves have one-tricked their way to victory, and then when they're getting countered, they don't know what to do. But then, of course, the top tiers in the game, the best people, the pros, and the people that just play all day and have got so good at it, once they're on the other team, it just feels impossible. It feels so impossible, not just for me, but for everyone on that team, that, yeah, they're good and they've got to it, but there's this other skill gap, this other dimension that people can just play, and no one is used to it. No one ever will be, and the ranks are just absolutely crazy. But one thing I've also noticed, and this goes down to a lot of the different ranks as well, is that the thresholds of Diamonds and Masters is 3500. There's like one SR there, and boom, you're in Masters. But actually, the thresholds for the different ranks don't really seem to take place until about halfway through the ranks. So up until 3750, it just feels like a diamond game, and even then you'll still see a lot of the same mistakes and stuff, and this happens down the ranks too. If you've just reached plat, it's still going to feel like a gold game for quite some time, because it will drag some golds in, and that's just how the whole system works. But the crazy thing is that the biggest threshold is actually that at the highest level of play. You would think it would be somewhere lower, where there'd be like this big steep learning curve like there is in a lot of other games, but it doesn't really seem to be a thing in Overwatch. It's right at the end where the pros are just really wrecking everybody. Another thing that happens at some of these higher levels that you wouldn't expect as well, even in GM, is actually smurfing. So these people that I say to you are amazing at certain heroes, well, they'll have a smurf as well when they don't want to try hard so much, and they want to try a new hero maybe. Now, Smurfing's becoming more and more of an issue throughout the ranks, and it is also an issue in GM, because again, someone will set up a new account, and it's very easy to inflate your MMR on a new account, so people can get to GM very easily. And what they'll do is they'll play a hero that they're learning, and they'll probably throw the game. But the other issue that it creates as well is, even though they're on a lower account at 4100, as I say, that's the lower threshold, they just dominate the games even at GM. And I've noticed as well that when playing with Eddie on an alt account, because he's a lower rank than me, that Smurfs are throughout all the ranks all the time, and they don't create problems for the reasons that people think they do. A lot of people think, well, a Smurf will just dominate us. It'll be a really rough time because there's a Smurf on the other team who's going to be wrecking us and there's nothing we can do. Actually, the problem that's created with Smurfs on Overwatch is the opposite effect. They're not on their mains and they don't care. They don't care about winning. They don't care about your feelings even more than a normal toxic person in Overwatch. So if they're Smurfing and they're trying to learn Torbjorn and the enemy team are running D.Va Winston and diving him and killing him, he's not going to change. He doesn't care because he's not on his ult. And this creates a massive problem throughout every rank as well. Another thing that I didn't think I would experience in GM, but it's just as evident as it is any other rank. Of course, at GM you see more of they're throwing on a hero they're trying to learn, whereas at lower ranks you do see a little bit more of they're just wrecking me because they're on a Smurf. But it is the same issue throughout all the ranks. So what does all of this mean? Well, for me, it makes me a little bit sad. It makes me cry more for that team queue that we keep asking for, to be able to group up with people and there be a benefit to playing with your team, because right now the skill system will wreck you. You will lose all of your SR and you'll be back down in Diamond in no time if you try and queue with your friends. Especially at a high rank, it will just throw you against top 500. So for the people that are in Plat and you want to rank up and you want to get better at the game, honestly, you're not actually in the worst place a lot of the time. When I've played at Plat and Diamond, people have been more willing to take tanks, to take healers, and you won't believe me, I'm sure, but ask anyone that's been in GM, it's one of two things every time you play a game. Your team are throwing on the one hero they can play while being countered, or your team are rolling and there's no in between. Every now and then you'll get that magical game where both teams are really good, but that's only in like the top 0.1%, and I'm not good enough to get there. Even if I was, I wouldn't be able to stay there. It's just so difficult. So for you guys that want to just keep improving at the game, play with your friends, try and learn as much as you can. And I don't want to put a downer on it, but don't expect too much when you get to GM, because honestly, it's more of the same. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. How do your games go at all the ranks? Do you have problems with Smurfs, or have you got to GM and witnessed the problems I'm talking about? It can be beautiful up there, but a lot of the time, it's as toxic as anywhere else. Be sure to check out our Twitch and our Twitter, where we tweet out our streams and YouTube videos and things like that. Be sure to check our Discord, where you can find the Grandmaster of your dreams. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed, and have a great day as always. Take care and peace, people.